There's a horrifying truth unfolding in the heart of the so-called American paradise, a place where the bright lights aren't enough to hide the cold, starving bodies abandoned by society, lying right there on the sidewalks. If you've ever thought of America as a paradise, this video will completely change your perspective. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to continue exploring countries from a very different angle, raw, unfiltered, and brutally honest. This isn't your typical travel documentary. This is a wake-up call, the story of America, the most sinful nation? Where the poor are slowly suffocated right in the heart of so-called civilization. A society that looks glamorous on the surface, but feels brutally cold when you look at the bottom layer. When people think of America, they often picture its breathtaking natural beauty and one of the most diverse cultures in the world. From the fiery red cliffs of the Grand Canyon to the snow-covered peaks of the Rocky Mountains, from the golden beaches of California to the autumn foliage of New England, every region is a natural masterpiece. Iconic cities like New York, Chicago, and San Francisco are not only economic and cultural hubs but also dream destinations for anyone exploring the world. Americans are known for their dynamic, open-minded spirit, their willingness to share, and their creativity. The country's education, technology, and art systems consistently rank among the best globally, shaping an image of a perfect nation in the eyes of travelers. But have you ever wondered what happens behind the bright lights of Los Angeles or New York? When the cameras stop rolling, when the tourists leave, what's left behind? Rows of makeshift tents lining the sidewalks. The damp, musty smell mixed with cigarettes and despair. In documentaries about homelessness in America, you'll see entire families sleeping in their cars, children doing homework under streetlights. This is no longer about a few unlucky individuals, it's a full-blown homelessness crisis. According to a 2024 report by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, there are over 753,000 homeless people nationwide, the highest number ever recorded. Of those, more than 170,000 are living outdoors without access to safe shelter. Notably, over 30% of them are women and children. Another study shows that 4 out of every 10 homeless individuals are veterans, people who once fought for their country, now abandoned by the very nation they served. In California, known as the Sunny Paradise and the heart of the entertainment industry, there are over 180,000 homeless individuals, making up nearly 30% of the entire country's homeless population. In San Francisco, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment is over $3,000 per month, far beyond what most working-class people can afford. Cuts to social welfare programs, combined with the soaring cost of living, have forced thousands onto the streets after just one life setback, like losing a job, going through a divorce, or falling ill. In New York, a city that prides itself on being a model of modern civilization, over 100,000 children experienced homelessness during the 2022-2023 school year. They lived in shelters, temporary housing, or even subway stations. Behind the dazzling lights of Times Square are children growing up in conditions lacking sanitation, education, and love. Lisa's story, a 34-year-old single mother in Phoenix, Arizona, is a stark example. She used to work in an office, had a home, a car. But after an accident left her unable to work, her health insurance couldn't cover the costs, and her medical bills quadrupled. She lost her job, couldn't afford rent, and was evicted just 2 months later. Now, she lives with her 6-year-old daughter in an old car parked by the side of the road. Lisa says, "Every morning I wake up, I just hope it's not too hot, and that my daughter doesn't get sick. That's all I dare to wish for." America isn't poor. But the way resources are distributed is brutally unfair. On one hand, the country pours hundreds of billions of dollars into military projects, technology, and space missions. On the other hand, it turns a blind eye to millions of people with no homes, no jobs, and no access to healthcare. Why? Because poverty has become a personal problem, no longer seen as a collective responsibility. The culture of individualism and blame has led to the homeless being treated like trash. No one wants to look, no one wants to listen, and of course, no one wants to help. The social support system in the US does exist, but it operates in a fragmented, disconnected, and highly bureaucratic way. Many places require homeless individuals to have a permanent address or complete identification documents to receive assistance, things most of them simply don't have. Affordable housing programs have been continuously cut over the years. In 2022, only about 1 in 4 eligible households received federal rental assistance. The rest? They're left to fend for themselves or, quite simply, live on the streets. In Los Angeles, the city government once spent nearly $1.2 billion on a project to reduce homelessness, yet after 5 years, the number of homeless individuals didn't go down, it rose to over 70,000. Meanwhile, massive budgets were funneled into building temporary shelters that lacked proper sanitation, were unsafe, and were even sued for offering living conditions worse than those in prisons. This shows that the problem isn't just a lack of resources, it's also a failure of policy thinking, execution, and oversight. I once sat for hours at a bus stop in San Francisco, a city considered one of the most civilized in America. There, I watched a man around 50 years old, thin, pale-faced, sitting silently beside a torn-up bag of belongings. No one spoke to him. No one stopped. People passed by as if he didn't exist. That is what you'd call organized apathy. Society has been programmed to be indifferent. But don't lose hope just yet. In that darkness, there are still glimmers of light. There are volunteers bringing hot soup to every street corner, former billionaires who gave up everything to live among the homeless, listening, sharing, helping them find their voice. And you know what? It's often those who have the least who give the most. A piece of bread, an old blanket, a simple hug, sometimes, that's all it takes to pull someone back from the edge of despair. Behind the poverty in America lies a system that's flawed at its core. Rent prices are skyrocketing while the minimum wage stays frozen. Medications cost 10 times more than in other countries. A single hospital stay can bankrupt an entire family. The education system leaves students graduating with massive debt, only to land jobs that can't cover basic living expenses. They say America is the land of opportunity, but in reality, it's the kind of opportunity that lets you fall faster the moment you slip. And perhaps, this isn't just America's story. It's a wake-up call for any nation chasing GDP numbers while forgetting one crucial truth: true civilization isn't measured by the number of skyscrapers, but by how we treat the most vulnerable members of society. You've just watched a story that's not easy to hear, but one that needs to be told. This video isn't meant to shame or condemn, it's meant to remind us that behind every glamorous check-in photo lies a reality that deserves to be seen. Watch travel documentaries not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Travel isn't just about enjoyment, it's about understanding, feeling, and taking action. If this video touched you, please share it. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Every share is a small step toward awakening society's conscience. And who knows, maybe reaching just one person is enough to make a difference. So let these images be more than just something you watch to know. Let them become a mirror reflecting back on the society we live in, where wealth should never be a curtain that hides painful injustice. Travel documentaries aren't just for admiring beautiful places, they're a way to explore countries on a deeper level, from what they proudly show to what they try to hide. And who knows, after watching this video, the next time you find yourself in a foreign city, instead of just raising your camera to capture the towering buildings, you might pause, kneel down, and ask how someone is doing as they shiver in an old sleeping bag. Because empathy, that is the true foundation of any real civilization.